Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh Ba'Hashem, Yahweh Shai Ba'Hashem Rakakwadash, and double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone, and peace and salutations to those who elect hearing this word in truth and sincerity. Alright, so the title of this article is Prepare for Governments to Push CBDCs in the Wake of the Silicon Valley Bank Collapse, which, if you know, then you know. Alright, this is pretty much another step closer to the mark of the beast, which is the RFID microchip. Esau is going to get one up on, the people that's not watching. But to those that are watching, we can clearly see what this move, really is. Because I remember a couple months back how these other nations were getting along with, this whole digital infrastructure. I want to say, the one that come to mind immediately is Jamaica, with their digital currency, Jamdex, and pretty much, that's just them setting it up. And, there was another one too, but, I can't remember it at the moment, but Lordwilling comes to mind. But I searched something up right here. It says, digital ID is becoming increasingly popular in the world's 10 most populous countries: China, India, the United States, Indonesia, Brazil, Pakistan, Nigeria, Bangladesh, Russia, and Mexico. And these it says these countries have both the highest and lowest rates of population without ID. The United Nations and the World Bank ID40 initiative aims to provide everyone on the planet with a legal identity by 2030, which, if you can receive this is that beast system. Okay. So let me see. Here's another something on the digital ID. This is pretty much all in this beast system, man. This is what Esau got set up. That's why, as you can see, this bank has collapsed, and we can see this is leading to more banks collapsing, Salaki, which Esau is, getting ready to do away with this current money that we utilize right now, because he want to bring in the digital currency, which will lead to the RFID chip. So it says, over 100 of the world's governments are planning to push central bank digital currencies, and the collapse of Silicon Valley Bank may have given them the perfect opportunity to introduce this nightmarish surveillance tech. Because, if you know, then you know that, this digital currency will be controlled. Esau will have, your currency on file, so to speak, And this is this man's, his heart's desire is to pretty much control over you. He can subtract, he can add, to whatever you have. He can pretty much control you, Control the money, you control the people. Okay. Let me get this quick scripture real quick. In the book of Psalms, the 64th chapter, because these things going on right now are things that have been planned, for years, man. They're just not executing it because, we're in the end. That's another sign, that we're at the end, is that Esau is making his move. But this is, like I said earlier, leading to the mark of the beast, which is, one of the main prophecies that would happen in the end. So this is Psalm 64 in verse 5. It says, they encourage themselves in an evil matter. They commune of laying snares privily. They say, who shall see them? And that's a snare. Because a lot of people, they see the banks collapsing, and they really don't know what's going on. They just know that, they're losing their money, but then Esau is going to come and provide this solution, digital currency, and they're going to all, go into it, and this is a snare, because you understand that this is just pretty much gradualism that will lead to them, accepting the chip. It says they search out iniquities. They accomplish a diligent search, both the inward thought of every one of them, and the heart is deep. And Esau, these devils are crafty, man. They are crafty. Like I said, they've been planning these things for years, man, and they're just not executing it because they know that their time is short. So it says, the heightened fear of bank runs and the growing calls for more government controls to prevent another Silicon Valley bank-style event has created space for governments to swoop in and present CBDCs as the solution, because these banks don't really have, the amount of money that, how can I say this? These banks, so like, when you look at your bank account on your phone, it'll say you have, such and such, thousands of dollars. But when you actually go to the physical bank, and ask for your money, they won't have that, So using the CBDCs, they'll present that solution to you. The numbers will be there, but the physical money is not going to be there. It's going to all be digital. So it says, prepare for these talking points to become prominent as governments ramp up their efforts to push CBDCs. And like everything else in the society, it starts off like I don't think so, but eventually it'll become accepted within society. Okay, and that's how we know that the chip, is eventually going to be, popular in the society. At first people are going to be kind of weary of taking it, but then as time goes on, it's gonna assimilate, into society. People are going to accept it. It says, within days of Silicon Valley Bank's failure, it was described as the first social media-fueled bank run in history, and fears about social media disinfo started to be stoked. Let me jump down over here. It says, similar points were quickly echoed by politicians. United States House Financial Service Chair Patrick McHenry described it as the first Twitter-fueled bank run during an emergency conference call with high-ranking federal government officials. So I'm going to go ahead and skip these parts right here. So it says, be on the lookout. Let me highlight it real quick. It says, be on the lookout for suggestions from officials that CBDCs are safe and immune to social media bank runs. While such promises may soothe citizens' fear of bank runs, this fear will be replaced with something far worse for those that embrace CBDCs, central bank digital currencies. And pretty much this is going to be the world currency. Because remember, Esau, it is bringing together a one world government. So within that one world government is going to be one currency, that digital currency. This is programmable money that allows the government to dictate when, where, or if citizens can spend their money. So complete slavery. Once again, the so-called white man Esau will be able to dictate, what you do with your money. Let's get a quick scripture real quick. And people like to call out conspiracy theory this, conspiracy theory that. These are facts. Esau himself is coming out with, what he want to do. You got that guy Yuval Noah Harari, who pretty much he comes out blatantly and says what their plan and their agenda is. But then you got dumbasses that still want to call out conspiracy theories, or you're a nut job, whatever it may be, a Looney Tune, whatever. They're going to be taken by this, and they're going to be destroyed. Ezekiel 28 in verse 2, it says, Son of man, say unto the prince of Tyrus, and if you can receive it, it is actually talking about Esau. Son of man, say unto the prince of Tyrus, thus saith the Lord power, because thine heart is lifted up, and thou hast said, I am a power. I sit in the seat of Yahweh, in the midst of the seas. And the seas represents the people. You can go to the book of Revelation, I want to say the 17th chapter, where it talks about, the waters where the horse sit is the people, nations and tongues, It says, yet thou art a man and not Yahweh Bashim Yahushai, though thou set thine heart as the heart of the Most High. And that's how Esau is. He has a God complex, He think that he can make himself equal or even better than Yahweh Bashim Yahushai. There's another scripture that goes into how he boasts himself against the Lord. Psalms 10:3. For the wicked boasteth of his heart's desire, and blesseth the covetous, whom the Lord abhors. So Esau blessed Salaki. Esau boasts his heart desire against the Lord, which is what? To pretty much rule over the people as if he was the Lord, man. Alright? To enslave the Lord's people forever. To rule, to perpetually rule a world where Yahweh Bashim Yahushai is crossed out. and pretty much Satan, is the one being worshipped in that world. That's the world that Esau want to rule. Okay, it says verse 4, the wicked through the pride of his countenance will not seek after the Most High. The Most High is not in all his thoughts. Because Esau is not thinking about Yahweh Bashim Yahushua. Alright, he's thinking about ways to, rebel against the Lord. It says, his ways are always grievous. Thy judgments are far above out of his sight. As for all his enemies, he puffeth at them. He hath said in his heart, I shall not be moved, for I shall never be in adversity. And Esau, he really believed that, he's going to get away with this new world order. This man really believed that he's going to establish this thing and rule forevermore. You know what I'm saying? So it says, verse 7, his mouth is full of cursing and deceit and fraud. Under his tongue is mischief and vanity, man. And that's all these devils is talking about in these meetings, man. Vanity. Because once again, all this, this agenda Esau's talking about, yeah, they're gonna get, somewhere, they're gonna get somewhere with it, but you know what I'm saying, they're not gonna fulfill it. The scripture says in the book of Job that when he's about to fill his belly, being that Esau is not going to fulfill, his new world order. Yahweh Shah is coming back to pretty much, annihilate this whole system. Let me see, it says where I left off at. It says, get ready for governments to capitalize on the fear of financial instability and use this narrative to push new rules and regulations that will supposedly provide financial stability. And these people, their confidence, or how can I say this? Their confidence is on how much money they have. So when they start losing that money, or when something start happening to that money, they get scared, they get frightened. That's where their comfort is. Because in this society, you're taught to chase the bag, go make that money, and off of that, that's how your life, that's how your life is measured. So that's how Esau is gonna control these people through their money. It says that's why scripture says, for the love of money, is the root of all evil. They'll likely blame banks for creating financial blow-ups, insist that governments need more control over the financial system, and present CBDCs as a tool that will bring financial stability. This man is crafty. Esau, the scripture says, at least saying you should get an advantage of us. Okay. It says, those that fall for this fantasy will be locked into a system that's anything but stable. Instead of bringing financial stability, CBDCs will force citizens into a constant state of financial uncertainty, where they never know when the rules about how they can spend their money will change or how significant the changes will be. So you're going to be locked into a system where you're a complete slave, man, and that's where this world is headed to. And that's why when I think about it, I think to die is better than to be in that system. So when you think about being beheaded for not taking the chip, that's actually the way to go out, or the way to go. All right, who wants to be in a system ruled by the devil? CBDCs should be used for customer deposit protection. It says it says remain vigilant against CBDCs. During the last major crisis, governments leverage uncertainty and fear of the to push dystopian surveillance checks such as contact tracing, the juice passports, and digital ID. Expect them to use the same playbook when pushing CBDCs. Esau is going to push this thing through fear. All right, that's how Esau get these people to go along with his agenda. It's through fear. It's through fear and uncertainty. When you have these people in a constant state of fear, they'll come to you for protection. They'll come to you for the answers, man, or for a solution. And that's what this devil want to do. That brings to mind, problem, the Hegelian how do you say it? The Hegelian dialectic, Salakia. But problem, reaction, solution. Okay, and that's how this man do it. And it works every time. Because these people, These people are retarded, man. To bluntly put it. He says governments are likely to use talking points that tap into people's fear of losing money during times of economic turbulence and use false promises of safety and stability to lure citizens into a CBDC system. Don't be fooled. Governments have already made it clear that they plan to strip users of their financial freedom and privacy by imposing CBDC spending limits and controls and removing anonymity. You know, we more. All right. So, yeah, man, you know, this whole CBDC and the people that love their life here, you know, they're gonna fall into that. So, you know, a lot of our people, Jake, you know, the whole life in this Slovakia, their whole life here, all right, centered around making money and living a good life, you know, and that's what the scripture says right here in Micah 2:10. Arise ye and depart, for this is not your rest, because it is polluted. It shall destroy you even with the sword destruction, you know. So arise and depart from this place spiritually, man. No attachments, because once again we see where this world is headed. You know what I'm saying? It's headed, you know, it's headed left. You know, and if you join unto it, you're headed left with it, you know, unto destruction. All right. So Lord willing, this lesson was edifying. I want to give all praises to Yahweh, by Hashem Yahushai, by Hashem Rachakwadash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone. Until next time, I say Shalom.